This is my second vlog. That's called Mothering Through the Silence. It's been 23 days since I last saw my daughter Zaria. 23 days since I felt her arms wrap around me or ask me for uppies. 23 days since her voice called out Mama. Not because she ran away and not because I'm unsafe, but because the system, one that's supposed to protect children, decided that a mother's love, a mother's vigilance was a threat. My daughter Zaria was taken from me through what I can only call court-enabled abduction. Not with a gentle goodbye, but with her screaming for help. Not with, I'll see you soon, but with her saying goodbye forever to her beloved pets. Not with lawful support or care, but with us being hunted for 3 days in June. We were tracked and ambushed at our home, at a hospital where my mom was recovering, and at a police detachment parking lot. All weekend, I was threatened with arrest in front of Zaria. And she watched it all. She watched her mom be cornered, silenced, told by officers to put my hands on my child and force her into the vehicle of someone she screamed in fear of. She was not confused. She was terrified. And still she fought. She screamed for help. She begged not to be taken. She fought with every ounce of her 7-year-old body as her father physically overpowered her, dragging her from our vehicle, forcing her into a car seat she had outgrown years ago. She clawed at his door frame. She kicked and she pushed with all of her might, trying to stop them from strapping her down. And the police stood by, not to protect her and not to intervene, but to facilitate. It ended in a handshake between an officer and the man with the biological label of parent, the same man who physically overpowered and traumatized her, as all of the officers' body cams recorded. They held a court order in our faces, like a shield and a weapon, and stood by while it was violently enforced. Zaria's screams don't leave our ears. We will never forget her screams. And then came the silence. A jolting, suffocating silence that fills our home and life. But in our ears and in our memories, her screams echo relentlessly. There's a silence that rings so loud in our ears. A silence that screams through every minute of the day. A silence enforced not just by her father, but by the law, by officers sworn to serve and protect, by a system that sees obedience, not safety, as its goal. We had a 13-day trial in May, a long, painful process that should have been about truth and justice. But the order that took Zaria from me was driven by shameless and baseless distortions of the truth from the other side. Claims were accepted without any evidence, and witness statements were willfully twisted and distorted to justify that order. This was not justice. This was betrayal. But in this system, protection is called alienation, and safety is distorted into strategy. The safe, protective parent becomes the villain. But let me tell you what the court didn't hear. Let me tell you what that record does not reflect. Zaria and I not just survived together, we thrived together. We danced in the kitchen. We sang silly songs. We built safety where there was chaos and love where there was fear. And when she told me what scared her, I listened and I protected. That resistance they call alienation, that was her truth, her instincts, her voice. That fight that they tried to punish, that was survival. And that's what safe parents are meant to do. We listen, we protect, even when the world tells us not to. Every night I pray Zaria knows we have not stopped fighting, that she knows I haven't left her, that her absence is not my choice. It's a sentence handed down despite the evidence and without integrity. This blog, Willow's Path, it was never meant to just be mine. It's meant to be ours. A place where stories like mine and yours can be heard and shared. For safe parents like me and for children like Zaria. For voices silenced behind courtroom doors. To the ones watching from the shadows, the protective parents afraid to speak. You're not alone. To the ones who think that nobody believes you, I do. And I will keep speaking, even if my voice shakes, even if I'm shut out, and even if the systems say I don't exist. Because my daughter does. Zaria exists, and so does her mama. She deserves to know the truth. Zaria, Mama loves you so much, always. And I will never stop listening for your voice in the silence.